Business District, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. Registration fee 20,000 naira only. Pilgrimage fee 3.2 million. Initial deposit. Intending pilgrims for April-May Easter pilgrimage are implored to complete their payments and submit their forms at our offices. Equally, intending pilgrims for the November-December general pilgrimage are implored to contact us today to reserve a spot and be a part of our transformative journey to the Holy Lands. For further inquiries, please call 0818-177-5125 or 0708-851-7588. Do not miss these opportunities to explore the sacred sites of Israel, discover the ancient wonders of Jordan, and enjoy a spiritual journey of a lifetime. Announcer Dr. Bolabo Omoni Okudero, Board Secretary, Lagos State Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board.
I am so tired of boiling water to drink like it's a full-time job. The last time my family tried drinking boiled water, we all fell ill. All these have not been funny for my pocket.
I understand your struggle. That was my story before I discovered WaterGuard Tank Disinfectant. It has saved me money, time, and energy. No more water-related illnesses too.
A WaterGuard Tank Disinfectant? What is that?
It is a water treatment formula by the Society for Family Health. It treats a minimum of 80,000 liters of water. All you need to do is get it, put it in your tank, and it purifies the water for you. That is not even all. It also comes with a test strip that allows you to know when your water is safe to drink. When the strip turns pink, you know it is safe. You can get it at all supermarkets, pharmacies, and medicine stores nationwide. For more information, call
0806-221-6460
or visit www.sfhaccess.com. WaterGuard Tank Disinfectant. Water is life. Treat it.
What should we talk about? That we came in to play chess. We saw your thievery and stealing and looting.
It's a healthy chat.
If we talk about corporate social responsibilities, we should talk about it in relative terms.
A healthy dialogue for a relaxed atmosphere.
At a time like this one, the country is passing through very serious security challenges. We feel all hands must be on deck.
The purpose of the bill is to provide an economic and safety oversight regime for the regulated transport sector.
It's Talk Time on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Talk Time brings you current happenings in the social, political, and economic arena in the country, exploring the noble, ignoble, and incredible maneuverings behind these stories. Talk Time takes you on a ride with interesting personalities across various spheres of influence. Join the conversation every Saturday by 8 a.m. to have your say on these issues. The program is intermittently spiced up with traffic updates to ensure a smooth ride across the city. Let's talk on Talk Time, Saturdays by 8 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Talk Time. The conversation has just begun.
The bombs, curves, screeches, and totals won't stop the flow on Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Moving Lagos forward.
Have you ever been stuck in traffic for 3 hours? Would you like to navigate through the rush hour with ease? Let us get you to your destination with the latest traffic updates, well spiced up with some great music. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Traffic news round the clock.
What should we
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. You're welcome to Talk Time this great Saturday morning. We give God the glory for His bounties of mercies upon our life, and we're so grateful that we can live and breathe on this day. Let me see if we can do something about this microphone. You're welcome. It's going to be another great time out on radio where we share loads of information that will definitely empower you. All right, before we do that, quickly, let's get back to the roads and let you in on how you can navigate this wonderful Saturday. By the way, most of the locations that we're covering still looking pretty quiet at the moment, yes, and that will give you some time to really have some good drive. Ikoyi or Balinde End, very good movement from Simpson Bridge, connecting Dolphin Bridge, linking up with Osborne Foreshore inwards Bayokuku intersection. All very good. Golden Gate NMPC Registry inwards Akiadishola Bridge, also looking pretty good at the moment. Falomo connecting Bodyland Road, very good. Alexander Road as well, linking up with the Link Bridge. Alexander Roundabout inwards Gerald Roundabout is appreciably good. And we can tell you, Falomo inwards Awolowo Way, that entire stretch down to Onikon Roundabout, it's appreciably good too. Obalende Bridge and environs looking pretty good. And we can tell you, no impediment cited, all within the Victoria Island end. Shango Tedo this morning, smooth vehicular movement being experienced from Eleko Junction down to Igondo, as well as Bogije and Awuyaya, up to Abijo and ShopRite, all looking pretty good. ShopRite connecting Ogidon, Junai Bridge, as well as Olukunla and LBS, Alasia, General Paint, the construction corridor, all moving very fast at the moment. And we can tell you from Lekki Gardens Phase 2 down to Abraham Adesoya, both in and out of Ogombo Road, up to underneath Jubilee Bridge and Aja is also looking pretty good too. So no impediment cited within that particular corridor. We can tell you things are still looking good. From Dopomu end this morning, good vehicular movement from Iyanokpaja, Adialu, Aromire, Pako, up to Goyi, are all looking pretty good. And then Dopomu underneath the bridge down to Cement is good too. Goye intersection inwards Alaguton, as well as Alimosho Road, Akiwawo, that entire stretch connecting Moshalashi in and out, looking pretty good. Dokwemu Bridge inwards areas like Akomojo, talking about the roundabout there, and Shasha, the traffic light is regulating. Sele, Shobo, Kwara, Jimo, all those areas, Vulcanizer, as well as Maicon, all looking pretty good too. Ogunlano Junction up to Egbeda is still moving at a very, very lovely pace this wonderful morning. All right, so most of the locations there are looking good. We can also tell you that we're tracking an impediment. This is somewhere around the, where's this now? Okay, it's the report of a broken down 20-foot container laden truck having compressor problem. This is at Odoyi main carriageway, very close to Igweleri Junction, inwards Iyanosashi along the Badagry Expressway. All right, so I understand the mechanic has been contacted just to fix and evacuate it off the road, but take note, it's not really affecting the traffic at the moment. So that's what the summary of the traffic is looking like at the moment. But do not forget, we did tell you, the APC local government primaries is holding this morning, and we're asking you to plan your movement because you would not have access to Acme Road. That's within the Ikeja corridor. So if you're coming in from Iyanokpaja, you're coming in from Ogba, you're coming in from Berja, and you want to connect with Ikeja, please take note, you will not have access through Acme. Of course, you can drive through Latif Jakonde Road, but not diverting into Acme. No access at all on both ends, right? So even if you're coming in from the Akilo end, there's no access through that corridor. If you're coming in from the Latif Jakonde end too, there's no access. And of course, if you want to make use of the Wemco connecting point to Acme as well, there is no access. So please take note of that. You are asked to make use of alternatives. And of course, one of the alternatives, like I told you, is Latif Jakonde Road, Oba Akran, Adeni Jones, all those corridors. You can make use of this end, but not connecting to Acme this morning. All right, then, so this morning on the program, we're ramping up support systems for road traffic crash victims in Nigeria. Why are we doing that? Because we see that there are still lots of accidents that happen, both in Lagos and other parts of the country. But as a body, a non-governmental organization at that, have been, taking it upon itself just to try and ensure that they give life to people who are involved in accidents. And joining me in the studio this morning, I have Kanayo Okonkwo, who is head hospital engagement for Health Emergency Initiative, HEI. Mr. Okonkwo, nice to have you back in the studios. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. Nice to be here once again. Good morning, Lagosians. Good morning, Nigeria.
Wonderful. It's been quite a while. We had you over a year now. That was the last time you featured on this program. So are things faring with HEI?
Yes, HEI has been doing tremendous work in the area of health emergencies. Of course, top on the list is road accident crash victims, where anyone involved in any kind of emergency or road traffic crash is taken to any hospital that is recognized by the government or designated hospitals, and they are giving free medical care for the first to keep them alive, up to the tune of 80,000 naira per patient, and it's free and is never returned back to the organization. So this more or less like
a first aid intervention.
Absolutely, Vic.
Right. Now, you heard my colleagues there earlier on, saying that they're not very much aware of this. So it means that on the publicity front, maybe you guys have not been as visible as it should be, or perhaps people would have been getting this, but they're not very much aware that this is done by HEI.
I believe a lot of people that have received HEI interventions are very much aware. I receive calls almost all of the time, people trying to seek one issue or the other, try to, even outside our intervention, when you search for emergency line, our line comes up and it's always being searched on the Googles, which means people are actually aware.
And they're making use of it.
They're making use of it all of the time.
So for those who do not really understand what we're talking about, so HEI, that's the Health Emergency Initiative. What is the idea behind that initiative?
The idea is to save life, primarily, and to ensure that people who should have opportunity to live are kept alive, whether it is accident, whether it is children who are in the early stages of 0 to 5 years, whether it's pregnant women who are often detained in some hospitals after the childbirth, whether it is also providing training for first responders in emergency situations. These are areas we cover.
And you've been doing this for how long?
We've been doing this since 2015. And we've done a lot of work, Victor.
We'll talk about those work that you're doing, but 2015 till now, that's like 10 years.
Yes. Come October this year, we're going to have our 10-year anniversary. And this is also part of the build-up to that. We're going to be telling people what we've been doing so far, and then we are also going to pop up on publicity. Yes, many people are not aware of our activities. It is not that many are not aware, but Nigeria is a huge country, so to say. So even as much as we try to intervene in so many areas, it is still not far-reaching enough, because the health needs and emergency requirements are quite enormous. But so we're doing tremendously well so far.
All right. So are you just located in Lagos, or where is the base for Health Emergency Initiative?
Our head office is in Lagos, but we intervene everywhere in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes.
Everywhere?
Yes.
All the states of Nigeria, you have...
Once there is a need for us to intervene and we are called upon and with something we can handle, we do it. We don't need to get there physically. We intervene through the appropriate channels, and then we send the funds required for such cases.
All right. So in these 10 years, if I look at it, these 10 years, what are the kind of interventions that you brought on board?
For the first 10 years, in area of medical intervention, HA has attended to 33,500 recipients.
33,000?
Yes, 33,500.
Wow.
Our first responders training has been able to reach 128,900. And then post-crash care, we have attended to 4,200 victims. And we have also intervened in area of malnutrition and children assisted. Up to 5,800 children have benefited from HEI interventions. And then for medical outreach beneficiaries, we have reached about 7,500. Now, there's another area of importance we have been intervening, that is personal protective equipment for medical workers. And in that project, we have been able to reach 11,900.
Wow.
And I can assure you that during the COVID, we were on the field. I was on the field. The team were in the field, and we visited all the locations that catered for COVID issues. And we distributed PPE.
Right.
Of course, the governor himself recognized HI and actually personally wrote a letter of commendation.
Wow. These are all very, very great interventions, which is really, really touching lives. And I'm wondering, who are those minds behind this lofty initiative?
The founder of HEI is Pascal Achinin, is a man that has passion for the humanity. And when he founded it with a team, I'm a volunteer. It will shock you to know that since 2015 I've been with HEI. I don't collect salary.
Wow.
I am a volunteer. And major of us who are also part of this team are volunteers. In that in that, except for admin staff that are paid, every fund coming to HEI is utilized for the purpose.
And
all of these are documented.
Yes.
All these interventions are mentioned to you. They are documented.
So as we speak right now, what's the population of those that work or perhaps volunteer with HEI?
Well, the admin staff are not many, but volunteers, as people come and they are willing to provide their expertise in any area they want, we give them opportunity. But at least we have up to 100 and more volunteers in HI.
And this is across the country? Across
the country, yes. And more are still coming. We are getting letters every day, requests from various institutions and state hospitals that they want to be part of. They want HI to create an impact in their various communities.
Let's touch down on the major one, the first one, which is responding to victims of road traffic crashes. How do you get those victims in the first place?
This is how it works. We set up a structure. We went to those hospitals, selected hospitals, government hospitals, and other selected institutions in across the nation. And we entered into an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And we said, because some of these victims are unconscious, you don't need to insist that anybody should provide any kind of funding for the first treatment, which is up to the tune of 80,000 naira. What you do is, because of those MOU, anytime such patients are brought in and we are informed, please go ahead and treat such a patient, and we will pay the fund for that first intervention.
So this is an agreement between you and the medical facilities?
Yes, the medical facilities are already aware, so we had that MOU. So each time such treatments are done, we pay directly to them, and such victims are now inform their family or friends to come and continue the treatment afterwards if it requires more. Otherwise, they are discharged and they go home, and they are not, the money spent on these people are not paid back.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you have this kind of agreement? I mean, I'm looking at Lagos, for instance. There are thousands of hospitals that we have in Lagos. So how do you get to these hospitals? I mean, how many do you have agreement with?
Like I said, we have agreement with the federal government hospitals, the teaching hospitals in Lagos State. We also have with Lagos State General Hospitals, or all the medical facilities that are under the control of the Lagos State government. And then a selected few others that we find credible enough to run this project.
Right. So if if there's an accident, they take the person to a private clinic, let's say somewhere around Ogba, which you do not have any agreements with, would you guys still honor that kind of response?
No, we do not honor private hospital. We do not have agreement, but we know that within Ogba there are general hospital. So we have agreement with Ogba General Hospital, and they will be attended from that angle.
Right.
If anybody goes, once the general hospital or community
or primary health care,
you are good to go.
All right. Any of the hospitals under the Lagos State government, you guys have agreement with them?
I said all of them, Victor. We have visited each of them. We have written agreement. It is not oral. We have signed MOU with all of them.
Right. And you've been having these feedbacks all the time, right?
Yes.
So, for instance, this year, have you gotten any calls from any of the hospitals for emergency response for road traffic crash victims?
Yes, Victor. It is often. It is coming often.
How often?
Almost on a weekly basis, or sometimes daily basis, you get such calls. And especially at General Hospital Ikeja, we got a lot of calls most of the time for interventions. We get in Lagos Island Maternity and Island General Hospital, and all other hospitals and part of different parts of the city of Lagos.
Right.
And the moment we get such calls, we ask them to go ahead and treat, and we pay.
Okay, so I'm curious now. So if for those who might have injuries that might go beyond that amount of money which you've talked about, I mean, you could have fractures, you could have, some kind of complications that might arise as a result of the crash that might require some kind of surgery. So would you guys be able to intervene?
That's the way we run this project. The first intervention is to the tune of 80,000 to ensure that the patient is kept alive. That's our primary objective, to ensure that none should die. Then, when we now look at the case and the cost implication, we have other sister agencies and other structures we can refer or request for additional support. And the families and friends, where such is not existing, we can raise funds within ourselves. We have many of the times contributed on our own beyond what HEI provided for those of us who are volunteers and who are members. We now, such people are contacted, they make such payments. Where such is not exist, we look for, try to get support for such people as much as our capacity can handle.
Right.
Yes.
And this is the structure ever since you started in 10 years ago, right?
Yes, that's what we've been running, and it's been producing a lot of impact and a lot of recognition both within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. We have so much recognition. Almost on a weekly basis, we get letters of commendation from all these hospitals for the intervention we've been carrying out in their various...
all right. We'll touch base with some other localities. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. We're ramping up support systems. We're looking at systems for... that's support systems for road traffic crash victims in Nigeria, and I can tell you Health Emergency Initiative is ranking very high in that regard. Kanayo Okonkwo is head hospital engagement for Health Emergency Initiative. Getting back to the roads, like I did tell you, most of the areas are still looking pretty cool. Third Milan Bridge, very, very good. Echo Bridge as well is accessible at this time. And if you want to navigate through Kalcha Bridge, is also accessible, so no major worries. But the areas where you cannot access this morning is Acme in Ikeja. So that's where the APC local government primaries is holding, and we're saying you wouldn't have access through Acme. The entire Acme road is cordoned off for vehicular movement, and we're asking that you make use of alternatives. All right. Of course, one of you did inform us earlier as well that even the Agege Stadium, you do not have access through that corridor too. So if you're driving through Akilo, please, we're saying you can connect Oba Akran. From there, link up with Adeni Jones to proceed on your journey if you're heading towards Ikeja, or perhaps you're coming towards the Secretariat. If you're coming in from Ogba, you can make use of Omole Junction, link up with Latif Jack on the road, and drive straight down to get to Alausa Secretariat. All right, then, so we will continue to reiterate that from time to time. All right, so you are head of hospital engagement, Kanayo Okonkwo. What do you do, really? What are your specific duties? How do you go about that?
My duty is to coordinate the hospital engagement and visitation activities. Personally, I have visited all these locations in Lagos State, in Badagry.
Yes. All the locations?
The 5 divisions. Every hospital that we have engagement with, we have physically visited them and had those MOUs. And that from time to time, we also visit those hospitals. So we coordinate the activities of these hospitals, and then ensure that the director and the executive director and the team are given what they require to be able to work. And it took us time to differentiate, because sometimes we need to find out beyond road traffic crash victims. We do indigent patients, and it's often difficult to determine who is truly indigent, and that requires a special kind of
and that's true. So how do you know those are indigent?
We've been able to establish that over the years, and know really those who are just trying to take advantage.
So is there a way the hospital will be able to find out?
Yes, we collaborate with the hospital, and we ensure that those who are truly indigent are people who intervene on their behalf.
And what has the response been from those medical facilities? I mean, do they cooperate with you, or do they sometimes begin to have this?
I tell you, Victor, they actually felt that this was like a dream come true to several of them. That's why I said that almost on a weekly basis, we receive letters of commendation from these hospitals on the interventions we are doing and how we've been able to save a lot of life and help in their problems over there. Now, the recognition keep coming every day, international recognitions, and that is actually exposed us to a lot of the funding agencies who are really eager to see a credible organization who can be accountable, and every kobo spent is accounted for, and who received it is recorded, and the amount each person received is recorded.
So let's talk about this funding now. So where's your funding base coming from?
We get funding from the general public. The volunteers are also part of the funding scheme, and of course, over time, based on our activities and the transparency that's exhibited in HEI, a lot of organizations are interested in working with HEI. The numbers are many. We've had work with United States Consulate General. We have with collaboration with LFR International in Michigan, United States. We have MOU with Federal Safety Commission. We have MOU with secured funding with MKF Foundation in US. We have ACT Foundation Nigeria has since last year and this year, they're also funding our activities. And we have Woodwork Capital Foundation. We have a lot of them. We have received funding from EMP, Joint Venture NNPC.
Right.
We have received funding from Total Energies, and recently, something that has not happened before.
What's that?
We have been awarded Osaka Japan Expo 2025, and the only Nigerian organization that will be flying the flag of this country in 2025 will be HEI.
Wow.
And we have got sponsorship from
exposition.
Yes, exposition of NGOs all over the world.
Wow.
And come like this year, HEI will be standing representing this country.
That's big.
Yes, Total Energies has also signed an MOU for us to provide the secondary school equipment to about 3 states in Nigeria to give them the first aid materials and what they require for emergencies.
This is huge, really, for
yes, of course.
HEI.
And we're also having there are a lot of them who have signed partnership. The funding keep coming. We've had MRS at some point in time. MTN has engaged us in one project or the other.
Right.
And so many pharmaceutical companies who are finding ways to distribute intervention projects transparently and to targeted audience.
So they've been contacting you.
We've been working with them, and the list is increasing.
All right, then that's massive indeed. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. We're talking about support systems for road traffic crash victims, and we're looking at it from the perspective of the Health Emergency Initiative. Kanayo Okonkwo is head hospital engagement for that particular initiative, and of course we're looking at the great work that Nigerians are doing. All right, so if you want to join the conversation, feel free at 09153 877127. That's 09153877127. That's the numbers that you can call. You can also send in your messages to 08099120777. That's 08099120777. And of course, we'll be able to respond to you as well. All right, so you've been talking about the lofty things, the lofty ideas that this particular NGO, it's a non-governmental organization, right?
Yes, it's an NGO.
Right.
And they focus on health intervention.
Let's talk about the aspect of you training people for emergency response. How is that component of the initiative going?
It's been wonderful. Like I did say, Multi-Choice provided sponsored training for 6,000 students, teachers, and the communities, residents, the police, VIO, fire service, LASMA, FRS, and CPR aids, and all that trauma, post-trauma care foundation that we have been providing for these important agencies of government. So, and because they see what we're doing, Seplat Energy is there, Sterling Bank, Woodwork Capital, I mentioned that before, Total Energies, LCCG, MFM, KPMG, Rotary, Port Waterhouse.
So they support you?
Yes, Catholic churches and all other interest agencies help us to make sure that these trainings are delivered and paid for and the different locations across the nation.
Right.
And that has led to the statistics I gave you that so far on first responder training we have done over 128,900 all over Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Updates coming in from the control room. Emmanuel is sending this one in and says from the Ikorodu corridor is very good movement from Olokpomeji Trailer Park, but of course it's slightly slow at Odogunyo corridor. This is due to pedestrian crossings there and bus stop activities within that particular location. Further movement towards NNPC, Flower, Second and First Gates, as well as Okegbegun Sawmill, Lasma Yard up to the high school, and Ilepo, Obas Palace down to Sabo Roundabout, all moving at a fast pace as well. Sabo connecting power line to Aleje is appreciably good at the moment, despite bad portions of the road within that location. Further movement inwards Ikorodu interchange, looking very good too, and we can tell you we have it good. Proceeding towards Primero and Unity up to Benson, all looking very, very good too. Ragolis, Benson down to Ikorodu interchange, also very good, while traffic inwards Aleje to Sabo roundabout is moving at a fast pace. No impediment within those corridors as well. Okay, so you've been doing this, and I'm sure you have some touching stories to tell, especially on the aspect of emergency intervention when there is an accident. Any story that comes to mind?
There's a particular story, though not exactly on post-crash victim.
Okay.
There was a case of a 9-year-old boy that I was. We got to understand the parents died of HIV, one of the hospitals in Lagos, and the child was still being looked after. And they needed some support. He wasn't HIV positive, really. He had other medical complications.
Wow.
But there was no money to take care of his matter. And I got information, and then I called the team and the other volunteers to raise the fund for that young man.
Wow.
And they were able to achieve that. It was on a Sunday, and after service, I had the fund on my hand, and I went to the hospital to make that payment. But as I was about making the payment, I was told the young man has passed away, 9 years old.
Wow.
That story touched me seriously, and it pained my heart that as small amounts that could have used to save his life could not be reached by the parent. And that actually gingered a lot of us to put more energy in HI activities. When I told the story of that young man, it was quite touching.
All right. Do I have a call? All right. Hello there. Hello. All right. We lost that. There's a message here. This one says, "Good morning. What can schools and universities do to educate the next generation about emergency response?" Daddy Sola is sending that one in.
Can I answer that now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, we're already looking in that direction, and at the moment we are working out curriculum or with the Lagos State Ministry of Education, and see how we can incorporate those in the curriculum of the school. And once that is approved, I'm sure it's going to, once Lagos takes off, because Lagos is a center of excellence, and once this scheme takes off in Lagos, it's going to reach across the nation. So we're already working on that, and the true HI Academy that will handle most of educational training, that will be incorporated, and we ensure that people begin to be trained on emergencies at that age. Of secondary school age, yes. It's being worked upon already.
So for someone who's listening and they would like to really, really support this kind of initiative, how can they do that?
Yes, you can. HEI is very much available on social media. All you need to do is put your name, HEI, Health Emergency Initiative, and you'll find a lot of social media handles to contact us. But beyond that, you can call any of these numbers, 080-3722-8843. You can also call 070-6398-5777.
All right.
You can also call 08035-766767. Or you can simply go to www.hei.org.ng and you have all. If you want to be a volunteer, you can join through that. And if you want to be a sponsor of any of the projects, you can also do that. And one thing that you can be guaranteed is that HEI is so transparent that, like I said, since 2015 till date, every intervention done is recorded, and every amount spent on each is also recorded.
Wow.
And where and who benefited is recorded.
All right, so some messages are still streaming in for you this morning. Kanayo, this one says, "Good morning, HEI and Traffic Radio. Does HEI have MOUs with standalone accident and emergency centers and with the newly commissioned advanced, it calls it, newly commissioned what? Okay, advanced A&E donated to the Lagos State government at Ekpe, to mention just a few." Wurola is sending that one in. Wurola, thank you so much.
I'm not sure that we have with A&E in Ekpe, but we have with General Hospital in Ekpe.
Okay. And
then all the other general hospitals and
in Lagos.
Community, yes, and community in Lagos.
All right. This one says, "At Victor, is it?"
But then we also work with A&E in Lagos. If we need their support in any case, we call on them.
Right.
We work in collaboration with them. All the agencies of government that deal with emergencies, we work in collaboration with all of them.
Right. This one says that, "At Victor, is it the patient that makes the call, or is it hospital management that calls on behalf of the patient?" This is Femi from Ogba. Femi, thank you so much.
I'll answer that. If it is an accident victim, Of course, the patient will not make the call. For instance, an unconscious patient cannot make a call.
That's true.
But because this hospital will have an MOU with them, they inform us of such cases that there's a victim, accident victim, and needs attention. And we say, go ahead and do that, and we provide the funding.
So they are very, very confident that you will definitely.
Of course, they are sure that we will pay once we have informed of such a case. Even if we're not informed and it was taken care of, and we're later informed that such happened, we usually provide the payment for that.
All right, you can join the conversation as well. 09153 877127. That's 09153 877127. This one says, good morning, sir. Thank God.
Hello.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
What's your name?
Jibola.
Jibola, right?
Yes.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, Jibola, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I just want to ask the guest that why is it that most Nigerians, they are usually skeptical to help a crash victim? If you see somebody lying on the road, their first reaction is usually not going to help, but run or take pictures and all this stuff. So, what do you think is wrong? How can we educate Nigeria?
All right. Thank you very much, Jibola.
Yes, you are a concerned Nigerian, and we're also all concerned for that situation that usually occur. I think it started at the time when there used to be, there's no proper definition of what the police should do or not to do, or their level of assistance, and people used to be afraid that they might be roped into something they are not aware of. Okay. There have been cases where people drop somebody in hospital and maybe the patient died, and they brought the person to come and take person you have brought here. You take responsibility to go and bury a corpse that is not even, you don't know how it happened. So such cases made it difficult for people to assist. But it has changed now, because the police had continued to provide awareness that people should assist, and they will not be taking responsibility for assisting anybody. Okay. And Federal Road Safety also used to give such awareness that people should intervene. When you see a road accident victim, please help out. Nobody's going to victimize you. And if you have a case of a victimization, you call appropriate authorities, and then you won't have anything to worry. Let's not feel that it is not your responsibility to save any life. Their fears were genuine, but over time, this thing has been taken care of by the appropriate agencies, that you are not victimized, that someone is assisted, and then you now become the victim yourself. No.
All right. Another message here says, good morning, sir. Thank God Nigeria still has such kind-hearted individuals within the country. Say more grace to your boss. Okay, say more grace to you, boss. Kanoyo, our guest. He says, I'm aware of this agency because I have managed an hospital before. Please, is this agency only in Lagos or is it nationwide? Oluwaloko. Okay, Oluwaloko is one of our regulars. Oluwaloko, thank you so much for that. So he says he's aware of it.
Thank you for that confirmation. HI is not only in Lagos. It started in Lagos, but it's spread across Nigeria. And as we speak, a lot of hospitals outside Lagos, that teaching hospitals have written to us that they want collaboration both in the east and the northern part of Nigeria and the southwest, to which we are also working on how to run their various projects. But as it is today, any hospital we have intervened all part of Nigeria. Wow. If you give us a call and we have a genuine case and we actually identify the case, we intervene. We don't need to physically go there because technology has done a lot in our work system.
Hello there, good morning. Okay, let's have one as well. This one says, good morning. How can young people, students and NYSC members volunteer or perhaps get involved in supporting crash response? Chika is sending this one in from First Act. Chika, thank you so much.
Very encouraging, Chika, and I want to encourage a lot of young Nigerians to please join this voluntary work and help Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country we have, and we have to support ourselves and help ourselves. It's very easy to join HEI. you can go to www.hei.org.ng and you see a voluntary form you can fill, a volunteer's form you can fill to join. You can also call the numbers I've mentioned earlier. I'll call them again: 0803 722 8843, 080 35 76 6767, 07063 985777. Any of these numbers, they will guide you on how to be a volunteer. And like I said, we need to volunteer to help Nigeria. It is not always that you have to be paid for every work you do.
That's right.
Support the society. Many of us have been in HIF since 2015. And like I said, I repeat it again, we've never been paid salary for one day. And it's all recorded that the monies contributed for HEI are used for the intervention and administrative work.
All right, this one says, hi, this is Oduayo. Please, Mr. Kanayo, how does HEI handle cases where the crash victim has no ID, no family nearby, and no money? Thanks.
Thank you very much for this question. We've taken note of this kind of scenario. And that was why we entered into Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with various hospitals, that anybody brought in unconscious and needed assistance should be assisted, and the bill should be passed on to HEI. You don't need to call, the victim don't need to call, you don't need to have the money. Actually, even if you are rich and you have money, at the point of that accident, you're actually an indigent person, because you don't even have anybody to call. You may be unconscious. So the only way is to save your life. And when you are alive, then you can begin to call your people. Oh, I have this kind of situation. So we have taken note of that. And that was why we entered an MOU. Say, if somebody comes, an accident person, please treat this person and keep the person alive, and pass on those bills to HEI up to the tune of 80,000 naira. Then beyond that, we can begin to look for other support to assist the victim.
Right. Yeah. Let's begin to wind down on the program this morning. So what's the next? What are things going to be looking like this year? And of course, moving ahead in terms of your response to road traffic crashes, what's the plan?
We will continue to intervene in our traditional ways we have been doing so far. We're also being more innovative in trying to be creative and reach out to many more. We're working a lot of things. Like I mentioned to you, we are going to have HEI Academy that is going to educate people on how to handle emergencies. And we are working with, we are starting with Lagos State Ministry of Education to approve those curriculum so that it will be embedded in secondary school curriculum and ensure that people are in early life knows what the emergency is all about. And we continue to fly Nigerian flag high. We're going to be in Japan this year to project Nigeria. And so far we have maintained our integrity that almost everyone has with the level of recognition that HI is getting internationally is tremendous. And they're actually saying, oh, this is actually Nigeria. They couldn't believe it's happening. But it's already happening, and it's continuing to happen. Right. There are good Nigerians everywhere, and sometimes they're not identified. But so far, HI has differentiated itself and make sure that the objectives have never been deviated.
All right, then. It's nice having you in the building, Kanayo. But for those who would like to join once again, or those who would like to volunteer? Yes,
if you want to volunteer, if you also want to support, because like I said, government is doing a lot in the health sector, but we still need to support as much as possible to reach out to many. If you want support in any way in any of the areas we do, we intervene for children. We are working on, right now. We are doing a lot in malnutrition. I can tell you, Vic, the level of malnutrition in the nation is quite alarming.
Malnutrition, that's
yes. Acute malnutrition, yes, because of poor feeding and or improper feeding from infancy level. These are beginning to manifest in stunted growth and those who have poor development.
So, which communities have you had that intervention so far?
We have been working. I did mention to you that on the area of malnutrition, we have done a lot of interventions. We work with Mercy Children's Hospital. We have been working with Mercy since 2015 till date.
Wow.
Yes, and other children's hospitals that will have issues of that.
So you provide.
We provide funding for their medical issues, and we also provide sometimes the type of food that are required to get the child out of that current situation. You know, we get various intervention food that will immediately ameliorate the situation on the child. We're working on that as well.
Where is HEI located in Lagos?
It's located in Sulere and Masha, under Masha Bridge. Behind there you find HEI. I will post if you check the HEI address at www.hei.org.ng, you can locate our physical address. But usually we do not encourage people to come to the office because our work is actually outside the office. We go to hospital to intervene to people. We go to various locations where we're needed medical intervention, outreach programs. So it is not that people come to the office for, but if there is genuine reason to come to have admin office, we encourage you to come. But usually our work is outside of the office.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that for now. It's nice having you in the building, Kanayo. And I'm hoping that the next time you come, we'll still have more in terms of testimonies that has been, brought to bear courtesy of the Health Emergency Initiative. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Victor.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, then. So that's how far we go this morning on Talk Time. We've been able to touch base on how we can create some levels of support systems for road traffic crash victims, and we've looked at it from the perspective of our Health Emergency Initiative. We have to go. Dayo Anthony has produced the program. As usual, I say a big thank you to, of course, our social media team, Okwemi Shodunke, and others, Remi Aloko, Deborah Boludeku. We do appreciate you. And, of course, to our executive producer, Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. I'm out still very much within. Have a splendid weekend.
Really nice. I take it on You wanna live long, you wanna stay strong. You wanna live long, stay strong. Logun without doctor's prescription. Montenman, all in doctor's attention. If you need solution, Montenman. Too much is given, much is expected. Yeah, Lord, just give much is there. Live long, stay strong. Saturday. Ìmọ́tótó ló lè ṣẹ́gun àrùn gbogbo. Ẹ̀fọn tó gbòòrò àtúlọ́wọ́ àwọn tó rẹ̀rọ. Kẹ́kùlẹ̀ gbà tó sàbùn tókò. Cleanliness is essential. Utilize your potential. Understand the times and your initial. Mọ́tótó borí àrùn mọ́lẹ̀. Àṣẹ ní ká àṣẹ lọ́jọ́. Àyíká àlàbòyún. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ lábòyún ẹ̀fọ́ wọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká ṣètọ́jú àyíká àlàbòyún.
To points on the road, rails, and waterways. Tuesdays, we bring you up to speed with the latest traffic news, views, and comments from transportation experts. Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Traffic news round the clock.
Jaro for timely, reliable, accurate, dynamic, innovative, and objective traffic reports. That's why we are your T Radio on 96.1 dial. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Moving Lagos forward.
Need to navigate through the nooks and crannies of Lagos and beyond with ease? You're right on time with us. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, your driving companion.